Hey guys, it's Ross again, and I'm back with another edition of Q&R. This time I want to talk about shampooing. Originally when I was talking about this concept, what I wanted to do was tell you everything there was to know about shampoo, but after consulting with some people, they decided that that was probably a little too nerdy, and that why don't we just give a general overview and answer some specific questions. So, with that in mind, welcome to this edition of Q&R. Alright, so let's jump into shampooing. Most people agree that you should shampoo your hair, although there are a few that don't believe that. Anyway, with the exception of bald people, pretty much everybody should shampoo their hair. Now let's talk about how shampoo works. Okay, so what does shampoo do? Well, it's actually quite simple. Shampoo really it grabs the oil and the dirt on your scalp, and it basically, we'll say, wraps it in a bubble. And when the water comes, it rinses it all out. So that's really what it does. It breaks up the oil, kind of encapsulates it, grabs the dirt and the oil, and it basically allows the water to rinse it out of your head. All right, now the interesting thing about this is the oil is actually good for your hair, all right? So a little bit of oil is pretty good for your hair. Again, like you've seen earlier, there are some people that think, well, let's just say you can have too much of a good thing, all right? Okay, so you're looking at shampoos, and there's like all these different options. There's clarifying, and there's color care, and there's all these things, and you're like, I don't know what these things are about. All right, here's the deal. What's the difference between all these shampoos? It's two things. It's the ingredients they contain and what they were made for. Meaning this, if you get a clarifying shampoo, what that's going to do is going to contain a lot of detergents, and they're going to grab pretty much anything that's not bolted down, and they're going to rinse that out as well. They're going to take that with them. On the other hand, if you have like a color care shampoo, it's going to be very gentle. It's going to softer detergents, and it's probably going to have a UVA, UVB protection, some kind of sun protection, that kind of thing in it, and more conditioning. So they are different, and the difference is what they're intended for and then what's in them. Okay guys, so I get a lot of questions about parabens and sulfates. Like it says, paraben free, sulfate free, do I need to have that? Well, let's talk about what they are. All right, so sulfate free really got a big push a couple years ago with the big rumor that said that sulfates cause cancer. Now, since then, the FDA and basically no credible source I can find says that there's any link to that at all, but marketing guys love it because then you run out to buy your sulfate-free shampoo. What sulfate does do, sulfates are the bubbles, so if you love bubble bath, do not get sulfate-free, all right? Ironically, you don't really need the bubbles. That was a marketing tool from like the 50s that said more bubbles are more happy and more fun, and then it's actually not true. So sulfate-free will not bubble. So if you bought a sulfate-free shampoo and cannot figure out why you're not getting any lather, it's because you bought a sulfate-free shampoo. All right, now there are some nice things about sulfate-free. If you have eczema or if you have extremely distressed hair, the sulfate-frees tend to be more gentle. So you may want to try that. All right, so parabens. What is a paraben? It's basically a preservative. It is the thing that keeps you from having to put your all-natural face cream or shampoo in the refrigerator, okay? The reason it's a big deal right now is a study came out some time ago that said that there was a direct correlation between parabens and cancer. The study was inconclusive, and they're going to do more research on it, and at this time it's not really a concern. The thought was, in the amounts we're talking about, it's not an issue, but if I don't know how much it would take, but apparently a significant amount of paraben could in fact cause cancer. So again, it doesn't do anything for or against your hair. There's no benefit to having it or not having it. But if it's something that makes you paranoid, then absolutely go and look for the paraben-free shampoo. So your next question is probably, hey, is there a difference between what I buy at Walmart and what I buy at the hairdresser? Yeah, well, there should be. Hopefully your hairdresser is selling good stuff. The professional products, the professional-only products, those are going to have better ingredients in them. They're going to have a better UVA, UVB protection. They're going to have better conditioners. Their detergents are going to be less harsh. They go to all the effort to make sure that it works because the professional products have to answer to the professionals, all right? So they do use the top ingredients. They typically guarantee that they use the best, like the top shelf ingredients from what they're after, all right? So if they're after a silk protein, they're gonna use the best silk protein. So you are getting a much better product from buying it at the hairdresser. Okay, next question that people don't even think to ask, how do I shampoo my hair? Really? You don't know how? No, wait, it's true, you probably don't. And that's great, that's why you're watching this, all right? Basically, don't use a lot of shampoo. If you're using a professional product, it's concentrated, okay? So another difference between the Walmart brand versus the good stuff is the concentration, all right? It doesn't take much. Now here's what else you want to do. So depending on how much hair you have, obviously my case is different, but depending on how much hair you have, start with like a nickel and maybe work your way into a quarter in your palm. And you want to focus it on the scalp. The main job is to break up that oil, all right? So unless you've got, I can't imagine what your other hobbies were, where the rest of your hair is really gross, or if you're a product junkie, then you're gonna wanna, you're gonna wanna scrub on the outside of your hair, but for the most part, you just really wanna focus it on the scalp, okay? And we'll talk about conditioning later, but basically what you wanna do is focus it on the scalp and use the pads of your fingers, all right? So don't really dig in with your fingernails. Use the pads of your fingers and manipulate it. A lot of the benefit of the shampoo is realized with the massage, the manipulation of the scalp. So keep working. Should I do my own head at this point? Should I demo it? You can actually see it on my head. Yeah, so actually keep rubbing your head. This is actually very odd for me to do, but yet at the same time, this is actually what you need to do is work those pads. So don't scratch your head off, work the pads in. Woo, look at the massaging action. There we go, work those in. So that does a lot of the benefit is massaging. So the massage helps, and then please take your time on the water rinse. I have a person very close to me, and if some of you know the story, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I thought her hair was disgusting, and I couldn't figure out why. And a very other close friend of mine figured out the problem was she wasn't rinsing it. Like she'd sit under there for like 5 seconds and not rinse it out. Spend your time, honestly, on the massage of your head, getting the shampoo on your scalp, rubbing it in, and then secondly, rinsing it out, all right? So, basically here's some summary of those 3 points. Doesn't take a lot of shampoo. Keep it near your scalp. You don't really need it on the ends unless you're a product junkie, but even then, it should catch it on the way out, all right? So, the product should be shampooed out just because the shampoo's going through your hair as you rinse it. Spend a lot of time on your massage, and there's a wasp in here. Hang on. Okay, so now some side notes, all right? A lot of people are like, oh, I have to wash my hair every day. You know, you actually don't. Like I said earlier, that oil is good for your head. So if you're using a shampoo that's good and you're doing it 3 or 4 times a week, you're probably doing enough. A lot of people think you need to switch shampoos every so often. You actually don't. Now, your body changes through the year, so you may find something else is more effective or your body reacts differently to it through the year, but you don't actually need to switch shampoos. And then other just notes. All right, I'm just gonna throw some random stuff out for you. If you are a bather, if you like your bathtub, which I do, like, camp out, take a nap, all good. But if you wash your hair in the tub, you need to wash your hair first, okay? Because if you're using soap first, it's very alkaline and your hair is actually acidic, and so basically you're giving it a mini perm every day if you're dipping your hair in bath water that has lots of soap in it, all right? So if you do the bath thing, shampoo and condition your hair first in that water and then use your soap, okay? Other notes for that, a lot of people will sell the cold water rinse idea. Hey, I'm in the shower, I'm gonna rinse it with cold. Well, I'm just gonna tell you, a lot of people won't do that because it's cold, all right? But if you could take it down to like not scalding hot, maybe do a warm / refreshing cool water rinse, then that would be great. It does keep your cuticle a bit tighter, all right? So if you have any more questions, post them in the comments below. Hopefully I can field those for you. And hopefully this was helpful for you and to learn how to shampoo your hair and which one you should use. And as always, if you have questions, either write us a note or call your local Ross the Boss. Thanks guys, now I hope to see you next time on